Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining my Synchronous session on motivational interviewing. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here today. And I wanted to just start by a little brief introduction. So my name is Tanya Dunn. I am a physiotherapist. I've been a physio for a while. And my current role is as the regional educator for physiotherapy within Vancouver Coastal Health. And so, of course, part of my role is teaching professional continuous development, as well as orientation and providing educator and student support through our student practice education program here at VCH. So today I was going to kind of do a very high level introduction to motivational interviewing, which is something that we always trying to incorporate into our practice as a way to build relationships with clients and kind of shift the relationship in the way that you might traditionally think of giving someone guidance and therapeutic advice about stuff. So what I wanted to start with is just a really quick activity with all of you. And if you can participate, that would be great. So let's just start by just have you cross your arms. And you can cross them whichever way. I don't care which way you cross them, just whatever's natural for you. And just notice what arm is on top. What's So you can kind of see this is probably the most comfortable, your usual way for crossing your arms. And now just let's switch it. Switch your arms and see if you can switch it. So now you should have the reverse, the opposite arm on top. And how does that feel?
Awkward.
Awkward. Okay. And what if I asked you to cross your arms this way every day now for the next 2 weeks? How would you feel about making that change? Would you be motivated to do that for me? Like if I asked you on a scale from 0 being no motivated, I'm not motivated at all to make this change, or 10, oh, I'm super motivated. I'm going to make this change no matter what. What number would you give it for how motivated you are to follow my request for you to change how you cross your arms for the next 2 weeks?
I suppose I have to know what the reasoning behind you wanting me to do that for 2 weeks then.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're pretty low on that motivation scale.
Why am I doing this? What for what reason? Is it gonna benefit me long term? Like, what are the reasons that I'm doing it this way?
Okay.
That would be my question.
Okay. Roberta, what about you? How motivated are you to do this for me?
Not super.
Not super nice. You're
Not
like,
super
why?
motivated. Yeah, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I know it's gonna help my posture. Sure. I'll do
Yeah.
it.
Caroline, what about you? You want to make
Yeah,
this change?
I'd say same thing. I need a good reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if I say, you know what? I'm a physiotherapist. I am an expert at crossing your arms the right way, and this is the right way. If you cross them the other way, you're going to get headaches, you're going to get this muscle imbalance, long term, it's not going to be a positive thing for you. So you really need to follow my recommendation here and make this change. So what do you think about that? Now, I've told you I'm an expert. I'm the premium expert across Canada for this change. How motivated are you to make this change now?
I think slightly more, but that locus of control is still very external.
Yeah.
I haven't found the reason within myself to do it.
Yeah. Yep. Excellent.
I would say show me some research or examples of how it's worked.
Okay. So you want some more proof,
Yeah.
Roberta?
If it was to help headaches, I get them quite often. I would try.
So you're getting closer to that.
Yeah.
You might actually consider my change. You're a little higher on that motivation scale, that 0 to 10 scale. What if I can tell you need a little bit more help. Maybe you're not motivated. So I need to provide you with someone to help you stay motivated. I'm going to give you an assistant. It's completely free of charge. This assistant can follow you around every day, every hour of the day, 24/7, and they can help tell you every time you cross your arms the wrong way. And then, that way for sure you'll be able to change. Every time you do it the wrong way, this person is going to be able to tell you. It's not going to cost you anything. What do you think now? Do you think we could make this change if I gave you my assistant to use for the next 2 weeks?
I don't know if I'd want somebody following me around 24/7. So
Yeah, I would say the same.
Yeah. Okay. So this is why do you think my approach is not working? Why do you think my attempts to get you to change the way you're crossing your arms is just not working for you?
I guess because it's a habit. Like it's
Mhm.
something that you do. It's not really a conscious thought. So if I'm crossing my arms, I'm just going to cross my arms. It's not something that's it's one of those automatic functions, I guess.
Okay.
So to
Okay.
actually
So
have
it's
conscious effort,
okay.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe
I'm
that's,
not trying to change something that is, within your control, basically,
yeah.
is what you're saying. Okay. Megan, Caroline?
I think for me, we're not really exploring any sort of like needs or barriers from us as individuals of why we would in our personal lives and with our individual needs why this would be beneficial,
Mhm.
and also what are some of the barriers that prevent it from being successful.
Okay. So I need to ask some more of those kind of questions. And Megan, what about for you?
I mean, I would say like why is it all the time? Like, can we like ease into this? Can you say,
Mhm.
oh, like how about for an hour or two a day, try and doing it the other way. So that's why I
Mhm.
would challenge you that like be like, okay, what can I do? Why do I have to do it all the time and have someone following me? Like I don't like that. So
Okay. So that's just not something that'll work for you, what I've chosen, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So presumably if I switch up my methodology, I could and take your advice on these things, I could be more effective, right? If I kind of start more slowly, or if I start asking more about barriers or kind of things like that, or chose something else to change, then I'd have a better chance of increasing your motivation to change. Okay, so I'm gonna just start our presentation here. Oops, gotta go to Zoom. And I'm gonna share. Okay. I gotta start everything's getting in my way here. Okay. So you can see my PowerPoint up there. I think I'm still recording, hopefully.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna, that's just my slide. So as we go through our topic today, I want to just think about this quote from Maya Angelou. And people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Okay? And keeping that in mind, by the end of the lesson, hopefully you'll be able to describe what motivational interviewing is, what the writing reflex is, and be able to use open-ended questions in your conversations about change with individuals. So I'm gonna just come out of this for a minute, and I'm gonna give you a poll. Um, just switching between everything here. Okay. Do you see the poll up front?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds to do that. So have you heard of motivational interviewing before? And then do you know what the writing reflex is? Excellent. So we've got one person who knows about motivational interviewing, and we've got everyone knows what the writing reflex is. Excellent. Perfect. Um, so you can see the results there on the screen. Okay. Now I'm going to just close my poll and then go back to my sharing. Okay. So what happens when you try to convince someone about doing something? Um, so for example, like in the typical thing, so with the writing reflex, as professionals, a lot of times we are thinking that, we're the expert and I know what you need as my client. I know what is best for you. I've got all this training. I've got all this experience. I've worked with people exactly like you. And I'm going to give you all that information and all that knowledge and have you hopefully come along on that journey with me. But what often can happen is people get resistant, right? Like if I come up to you and say, you need to stop smoking. I heard you were thinking about it, so why don't you stop smoking? Why don't you, um, start wearing a nicotine patch or anything like that? What often happens is people end up defending themselves, right? Like, when I was trying to get you to cross your arms, did you feel like maybe you're like, why are you being so aggressive about this? You're gonna send somebody to my house. Okay, yeah, I see. Thanks, Caroline. Um, and you're gonna head out, you're going to send someone to my house and you're going to be having them following me. That's kind of extreme. So if we're kind of approach it from that, we often get this reactive response from people. And instead, we could try something like motivational interviewing. So,
Fundamentally, motivational interviewing involves a change in role, a change in how you think about what you're doing. You're not the expert there to fix the person. You don't have to make the person change. The truth is, in fact, that you can't make a person change. You don't have to be the one to come up with all the good ideas. A person with really good ideas is sitting across from you and may have better ideas than you do. It's not like a competitive sport. It's not like wrestling where you try to defeat and pin and outsmart and outwit the person. It's more like dancing together, moving together, adjusting your movements to the other person. Overall, motivational interviewing is not a directive approach. Neither is it just a following approach. Following is listening to the person and kind of going wherever they go. Motivational interviewing is in the middle, between those two, and we describe it as guiding. If you go to another country and you hire a guide, you don't expect the guide just to follow you around. That's not what you're looking for. Neither do you expect the guide to order you when you will arrive, when you will leave, what you want to see, what you will enjoy, what you're going to do. That's not a good guide either. Good guiding involves good listening, as well as using your own expertise. A good guide will find out where you want to go, what you're interested in, what you're hoping for on this journey, and then help you get there using his or her own expertise, enjoyably, safely, efficiently, perhaps. That's the guide's job. Not solely directing, not solely following. There's some of each in it, but it's a blend of those things. This may or may not be the way you've been thinking about your own work, but we invite you to try it out.
So MI is a collaborative way of communicating and just kind of guiding the person along while empowering them through reinforcing the the steps they are taking through affirmations, while listening and with respect and curiosity. And it's not about being the expert or trying to fix or change the other person or about giving advice. It's kind of trying to pull out all of the things within that person that wants this change, and listening for change, what they call change talk, and trying to guide them away from that sustainment talk. So reinforcing choices that they are make and their strengths that they have, and finding out why they want to change and focusing on that. And some of the skills that are used within motivational interviewing are open questions, so that you can explore their experiences and their perspectives and their ideas about the change. Using affirmations, so kind of praising them and acknowledging the strengths and the efforts that they are taking, any past successes that they have, so that you can really build on their confidence in their own ability and their own motivation to change. So really shifting the focus away from us onto what the other person is doing. And you can also use reflections, so repeating and rephrasing, and that all of those active listening techniques that you use to show that you are empathetic and that you are supportive in their choices and that you are respecting them. And then using a summarizing technique, so that you kind of checking in with the other person and letting them know, or checking to that what you understand is happening in the conversation is indeed what's happening. And reflections can give you that feedback as well, because they will either confirm or deny your reflection, right? So you'll say, oh, so I hear that you feel this way about the change. And they'll say, well, no, not really. Or yes, yeah, that's totally it. And then that can be really reaffirming for the relationship. So building that relationship. So I was going to have breakout groups, but I have just two. So if we could practice together going through this activity, where one person is the speaker and I'll be an observer. So I'll be the third person in our little triad. And the speaker, if you can pick something that you want to change in your life. It can be a real thing, it can be a made up thing, but it should be something that you haven't definitely decided that you want to change, and you kind of feel you're in the middle right now. You're ambivalent. You don't really know which way you should go, and so you are kind of have been putting it off. And then we'll have that be shared with the listener. Now, the listener in this scenario can be, it can be a healthcare professional, it can be your boss, it can be your best friend, it could be anyone. But the person in the listener role needs to try not to persuade or fix anything about the other person or about their problem or why they need to change, and resist that urge to offer advice, and instead focus on these 4 questions. Why would you want to make this change? So asking the list speaker, and then if you did decide to make this change, how might you go about it in order to succeed? What are the 3 best reasons for you to do it? And how important would you say it is for you? And using that scale, that motivational scale. So, and after hearing all of that and listening carefully, summarize back to them, and then ask, so what do you think you'll do? And then listen to that answer. So, do I have a volunteer to be the speaker, the one who wants to offer
Sure.
their choice?
Sure. I'll
Megan?
do it. Yeah, sure.
Roberta, would you mind being the listener, the
Sure.
one who's asking the questions? Okay. So, and then we'll take about 2 or 3 minutes. So we won't go too far into it because we only got a couple of minutes before we want to move on to Roberta's session. So, okay.
Okay, so I would say, I really am wanting to try, exercising more often. My doctor says I need to start improving my circulation and for my health, but I really can't get up in the morning, or I don't have time in the evening. I just can't figure out how to do this, and I just am not motivated enough. Is that good? Okay.
Perfect.
Um, So you kind of already listed on why you would want to make this change. But it says, why would you want to make this change?
Improve on my health, work on my strength. Yeah.
If you did decide to make this change, how might you go about it in order to succeed based on your schedule?
Yeah, I would have to figure out what time of the day works best for me, or day of the week. Maybe that works best for me. Days of the week. Yeah.
And what are the 3 best reasons for you to do it?
Health. Like feeling better, I guess, like your overall health, feeling better, feeling more awake. And like having my body not hurt in certain places all the time. Yeah.
On the scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is not important at all and 10 is extremely important, how would you say it is important for you to make this change?
I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading this back.
Yeah, sorry.
So what I'm understanding is that you would like to start working out and exercising to better improve your health, overall health, as well as certain specific things like circulation, and more energy and stuff like that. But you're finding it hard to fit into your schedule that you currently have. So based on if you're willing to identify certain days of the week or time periods that you would be willing to work out, what do you think you'll do?
I think maybe I should write down a schedule, make a written schedule so that I'm able to visualize it, follow it, keep myself accountable. Yeah.
Excellent. That was awesome, guys. Thank you for doing that. So as the speaker, Megan, how did you feel with that conversation? What was your experience?
Felt good. Yeah. Yeah. Felt good. Like she wasn't just like maybe judging me for not, doing something that's going to better me. She was asking me, "Oh, why do you think, that would be important to you?" And not just being like, "Oh, you should do that if that's what they're recommending," you know?
Yeah,
So yeah.
nice. Roberta, how did it feel following the script?
It was helpful having a script,
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Did it seem like going through it, did it seem like this is kind of, oh yeah, this is kind of the way I have conversations with people when I'm trying to help them to change, or I think they should change, or would this be the normal way that you would go through it?
It's been a long time since I've had to actually like coach patients or kind of talk to them, but it definitely, now that our scope has expanded in pharmacy, then it would definitely be a tool that I would use were I to continue that in practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. Megan, what about yourself? Do you think this is something that you can incorporate?
Absolutely. Yeah. Dealing with, like a lot of patients and, patient compliance and certain things, like just being like, well, you need to floss more, and they're just like, they've heard that, a million times. So then you're kind of just like, maybe praising them for being like, wow, you had like no cavities this time. Like, that's really good. And, what have you been doing? And then maybe they're like, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So basically, so what is motivational interviewing as you understand it now?
It's more empowering. more, yeah, guiding the other person to feel it themselves.
Yeah. And Roberta, can you, what's one skill that is used in motivational interviewing?
Active listening.
Yeah. Thing that you could use every day. I think we've covered that you feel like you could easily incorporate this into your work.
Yeah.
So just to summarize, here's some key points. So some of the guiding principles for motivational interviewing is to resist that writing reflex we have as professionals often, and really try to understand the other person's motivation and their feelings around why the change would be important for them. Listening actively and empathetically, and really trying to empower the other person so that we take the role of guiding more so than trying to direct or give advice. And it's not that you can't give advice, it's more about how. So there are other skills in this toolbox called motivational interviewing. And it's kind of knowing when to pick one tool for what you're doing. So there's a lot more to it, but this is really one really easy to implement technique for us. And you can really use motivational interviewing in those cases when someone is really ambivalent, or they really don't know if they want to change or not. And they may have really low confidence about the change, and their desire may be low, and the importance could be low. So, this can happen a lot in many different circumstances. We have clients come in and, you know, we feel they should change because they have a lot of risk factors, comorbidities, or what have you. But they're not really feeling it yet. And this can really help maybe guide them through that change process and move them to being more willing. So what I was hoping to learn from you is kind of if you're interested in learning more about it, and I have a little poll, and what was the most significant thing that you learned today? And if there was a question, and I have a little poll, you can just fill those out for me. Just let me know when you've finished.
I'm finished.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, I'm just going to start the other meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Roberta. I'll jump over in a second. Thank you so much for coming. I've got the resources on here, and I will link everything, and I'll put the resources up there. And that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
And I do want to hear your feedback, but I know you want to get over to Roberta's
Yeah.
session as well as I do. So I will just, if you could just comment in the forum,
Will do.
and that would
Yeah.
be wonderful. I'd love to hear what you have to
Awesome.
say. Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye.
Yeah.